Then, verse 12. Then Samuel took a stone and set it up between Mizpah's. Here we go again. I can't even talk today.
How to pronounce Mizpah.
Mizpah and
The road to health care you can afford is already bumpy. Then Congressman Rob Bresnahan voted to cut Medicaid to give tax breaks to billionaires, but not before selling stock in Medicaid providers. Rob Bresnahan needs to stop cutting Medicaid.
The following pronunciation is brought to you by PronounceNames.com.
Shen,
Shen.
and call his name
Need to know the correct pronunciation of this word? Don't worry. In this video, you'll hear real-life examples of how people actually say it. Let's begin.
Historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, and Fox 5 is honored to once again have the opportunity.
Billy thought Ebenezer Scrooge was projecting his life.
Ebenezer, saying, "Thus far the Lord has helped us." Verse 13. So the Philistines were subdued, and they did not come any more into the territory of Israel. And the hand of the Lord was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. Verse 14. Then the city which the Philistines had taken from Israel were restored to Israel from
How to pronounce Ekron.
Ekron to
Ekron.
Gath. And Israel recovered
How to pronounce Gath.
its territory from the hands of the Philistines. Also, there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. Verse 15. And Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life. Verse 16. He went from year to year on circuit to Bethel, Gilgal,
How to pronounce Gilgal.
Gilgal, and Mizpah, and judge Israel in all those places.
To pronounce Mizpah.
Verse 17. But he always returned to
How to pronounce Ramah.
Ramah, for his home was there. There he judged Israel, and there he built an altar to the Lord. Okay, now I'm going to do the verses. I'm going to do Genesis chapter 35. Excuse me. To verse 2. And Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, put away the
The road to health care you can afford is already bumpy. Then Congressman Rob Bresnahan voted to cut Medicaid to give tax breaks to billionaires, but not before selling stock in Medicaid providers. Rob Bresnahan needs to stop cutting Medicaid.
In this American English pronunciation video, we're going to go over the pronunciation of the word foreign.
foreign gods that are among you, purify yourselves and change your garments. Now I'm doing Deuteronomy chapter 30. To verse 2. And you return to the Lord your God and obey his voice according to all that I command you today, you and your children with all your heart and with all your soul. Now I'm doing verse 10. If you obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in the book of the law, and if you turn to the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Now I'm doing Luke chapter 4. Luke chapter 4. To verse 8. And Jesus answered and said to him, Get behind me, Satan, for it is written, You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only you shall serve. Now I'm doing Judges chapter 10. Wait, where is it? Yeah, Judges chapter 10. To verse 17. Then a people of
How to pronounce Ammon.
Ammon gathered together and encamped in Gilead, and the children of Israel assembled together and encamped in Mizpah. Assembled together and encamped in Mizpah. Oh, goodness, excuse me. Now I'm doing 1 Samuel chapter 12. Verse 17. Is today not the wheat's harvest? I will call to the Lord, and he will send thunder and rain, that you may yeah, I can't even say it right. Perceive from it, and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the sight of the Lord, in asking a king for yourselves. Now I'm doing verse 19. And all the people said to Samuel, Pray for your servants to the Lord your God, that we may not die, for we have added to all your sins the evil of asking a God for ourselves. Now I'm doing 1 Samuel chapter 10. 1 Samuel chapter 12 to chapter 10. Verse 10. Oh my Lord. Chapter 12, verse 10 of 1 Samuel. Then they cried out to the Lord and said, We have sinned because we have forsaken the Lord and served the Baals and
How to pronounce Ashtoreth.
Ashtoreth, but now deliver us from the hand